is an international movement towards human collaboration as opposed to viewing each other as the enemy and viewing, people as footholds for getting yourself higher in life.
It's a safe place where people can come and discuss ideas for how the world needs to change.
So why are you on this trip?
I'm really interested in learning about the living conditions within the encampment.
And why are you on this trip, sir?
I'm just interested in learning about the movement and what their goals are and what they plan to achieve.
What question are you most interested in asking the people who are at the Occupy Boston encampment?
I like the question, what is Occupy Boston? Because it means many different things.
Okay. So why are you on this trip?
I really want to learn about what the people that aren't in the movement, but the people whose lives are being affected by it feel about the movement.
What about you, sir?
Literally the exact same thing.
Okay.
So what life is like for people living around it.
I really want to find out what kind of different kinds of people are there and what kind of lives they're leaving behind.
What about you? What are you most interested in?
I'd have to say I'm most interested in seeing what the occupiers have to say and how they think the movement's going to end and if there's going to be an outcome.
Why are you on this trip?
I want to find out what Occupy Boston's all about.
Okay.
Find out what they represent.
First name Wilda, last name Beast, and that's 39.
I'm Grady.
Grady, nice to meet you, America.
Nice to meet you, Eric. How old are you?
25.
25. So, what was your job before you started the Occupy movement?
I was a student. I'm a student. I took medical leave this semester.
The world. Are you a student or?
I just got out of the military March of 2010. I went back to college since then, finished a degree, and kind of just readjusting to being a civilian again.
Were you a combat mentee?
I was an infantryman, and then I was a military police officer, but I was a combat lifesaver, just a certification you get in the army.
My name's Tom. I'm 57. Right. I come down here to learn what was going on. And I get stuck.
So, what do? Do you have a job?
Right. Not really. Right. It's just help out where I can.
What are your occupations?
I am a nonprofit volunteer manager and a campus minister.
I do advertising research.
And I've worked as a journalist, like a multimedia instructor, and I'm a coach at Girl Felt. And
well, we're here to stand up for America and new American values, because the American dream, as we used to know it, hasn't really set a place out for our youth. As you know, like the Social Security, however you call it, project that the government has set up is a debt project, and it's going to collapse itself, and there's not going to be any retirement for the young people.
Well, I heard about the Occupy Wall Street and heard about the reasons they were doing it, and they fit into the categories of what I feel should change.
This is an international movement towards human collaboration as opposed to viewing each other as the enemy and viewing, people as footholds for getting yourself higher in life.
It's a safe place where people can come and discuss ideas for how the world needs to change.
Picture your whole school getting together to decide where you're going, with you having the final decision.
I agree with it's a collective movement of people trying to change the world, trying to make it better, wanting to be heard. We just want to be heard.
Social political protest movement who take a space as both a sign of dedication to a set of ideals and operate within that space in a way that we believe that society should run. Pure democracy.
A group of people that you would not see assembled anywhere else. stand up there on that stage and govern themselves. And it doesn't have to do with how much money somebody had before they walked into this place. It doesn't have to do with, you know, what skills they have.
The Occupy movement is about just the people speaking up against, you know, social inequality that's kind of been rising in our country.
As public meeting spaces, places of open public dialogue, forums for our civic engagement.
As a group of people who realize that the world is really broken.
This is our symbolic self-exposure to the elements because what's going on is unjust.
Demonstration community showing a better way to live, a better way for society to operate where everyone's equal, where democracy reigns.
What's the biggest challenge that you've had so far?
I think the biggest challenges have been, for us, we want to keep everyone as safe as possible within this, within these tents, within these temporary structures. And the biggest challenge has been the police stopping us from getting those things done. Police officers have stopped us from bringing in winter tents. We're trying to bring in winter tents to stay warm and to stay dry. And police stopped us from doing that. There's an interview on YouTube of a police officer. He had searched a truck that had brought some supplies down. He searched that truck without a warrant, and he said he was looking for, these are his words, contraband items that the police department doesn't want in camp, including winter tents and items of insulation.
So we're scrappy and we're doing what we can, and the police are just kind of our antagonists right now. But who we're really gonna have to fight are for the minds of the people who disagree with us, the people who drive by and say, "Get a job," with such hate.
We're doing everything we can. We're working. We've got an organization and fire safety group. We've been working with architects. We've been working with design students from Harvard and MIT. We've been trying to comply with as many of the ordinances and the safety regulations as possible. And then when we come in and bring winter tents to keep people safe, the police say, no, you can't do that. So they've stopped us from doing that. Just last night, we were bringing in a sink to address sanitation concerns so we can have clean water where we can wash dishes and wash our hands. It's a temporary sink that just uses 5-gallon buckets of water that you put on top, and there's different stations for it. And we're bringing that in to address the very concerns that the city inspectors have raised. So we're trying to do everything we can to be safe, and the police stopped us from doing that. And they confiscated the sink, put it in a paddy wagon, and drove it down the street. They didn't have any law to support that. They don't have any law to support not bringing in winter tents versus regular tents, but they still stopped us from doing that. So that's been the biggest challenge, is us trying to be safe, us doing everything we can to have a safe and positive community here, and then the police say, no, you can't do that. We want you to be safe, but no, you can't do these things to be safe.
So will you be able to get those supplies in, hopefully?
We sneak them in. This is civil disobedience. See the army tent that Food has now? We snuck that in. That's an example of just approved out of our donation money, $17,000 to buy those army tents, so that we can take down all these personal tents and put up flame retardant, winter quality insulated tents. They're awesome tents.
That exhibits the qualities of democracy that we wish our greater society would by. Exhibits a level of equality, egalitarianism that isn't present in everyday society. It's something that's core to what we've got going on here. It's core to it is what our message is, having this occupation, sleeping here overnight, having a 24/7 community where we have all the ups and downs of every community, where we have safety issues. We've got our medical tent, we've got our library, we've got our food. Those are issues every society has to deal with.
People are very helpful. You have different socioeconomics, educational backgrounds, different philosophies, but they come together and they mix well, and we take care of each other and look out for each other.
Ma'am, if you could describe Occupy Boston in one word, what would it be?
Irritating.
Cold. Misguided.
Committed.
They've been here too long.
Crazy.
Not a good idea. It's a powerful symbol. Absolutely. I hope it makes a difference. I hope it can be decorous enough to give the kind of things they're fighting for a good name.
Do you have any additional comments?
Yeah, Connor Williams is a very nice man.
The idea that they're out here spreading the message, I think, is a very good idea. I disagree with the camping part of it.
Okay, and why do you disagree with that?
Because it presents an enormous amount of problems for the city, and it's unsafe.
Picture your whole school getting together to decide where you're going, with you having the final decision.
I agree with it's a collective movement of people trying to change the world, trying to make it better, wanting to be heard. We just want to be heard.
Social political protest movement who take a space as both a sign of dedication to a set of ideals and operate within that space in a way that we believe that society should run. Pure democracy.
A group of people that you would not see assembled anywhere else stand up there on that stage and govern themselves.
As a group of people who realize that the world is really broken.